creating a successful book on Amazon KDP just isn't possible without a proper book launch plan.
Why isn't it possible?
Because it's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
Hello, my name is Ben McQueeney, and if you haven't been to this channel before, I make videos on how you can make a great passive income selling low content and no content books on Amazon KDP. And if that sounds like something you like the sound of, then please subscribe to my channel, leave me a like and hit that notification bell. So I've created a launch plan to take you guys through today. Now this will work for your low content books and your high content books. It's basically what I do for every launch that I do now, but let's just get into it. Okay, so this document has basically an overview, how I do the book launches, some things that you need to look at first, then it's actually got a plan of 31 days, what you're doing every day after you've launched your book, after your book has become live, with a couple of reviews that you would do in the meantime. Okay, so if you want to download this document here, it'll be on my Gumroad, so go and check that out. I'll leave the link in the YouTube description. If you want some extra help with your KDP book publishing, then why don't you consider joining the KDP Ninja program, which I have. Where people are on there and they're talking to me directly on the Discord server. It's a private Discord server for the KDP Ninjas. And they can ask me all sorts of questions on this sort of stuff. And it's been going pretty well, so go and check that out as well. There's also other things, like you get all the digital assets that I make, all these get thrown into the membership. And, it's not so bad for just the cost of a beer per month. Okay, so go and check that out. Anyway. So the book launch plan, right. So book launches are important as Amazon favours new books up until about a month, okay? So what I mean by that is that when you launch a book, Amazon kind of favours new products, okay? So it'll kind of, also they test them out, so they will kind of put them into sort of keywords against other books that have got lots of reviews to give them a chance. Okay, so in that first kind of period, up until about a month, we really do need to push the book as much as possible to get as much visibility as we can and as many sales as we can. Okay, so leading on to my next point, which is then easier then to rank that book, right? To get a low bestseller rank. Okay, so the lower the bestseller rank, the more visibility that your book will have on Amazon because it'll appear higher up in the searches. Okay, if you focus on a good launch to begin with, it is easy to keep the book floating. So through this video, you'll probably hear me say things like floating and sinking, okay? When I'm talking about a book floating, it's kind of maintaining a low BSR and ticking over nicely with sales, okay? And when I'm talking about a book sinking, that's basically it, falling down in the charts, in the bestsellers rank. And when it's sunk is when it's kind of done a few days without any sales, and it's kind of it's more difficult to bring them back at that point. Okay, so the other thing is the usual cost associated for a good ranking is around $100 on ads. So what I'm saying here in this book launch plan, there's a few things we're going to look at, but one thing is it's going to take around $100 on ads on average, and it can be less than that. But certainly for myself and in my experience, it takes around $100 to rank a book, and kind of then if it's going to sink or swim at the end of it. Okay, so let's go through the how then. The tab at the bottom, and this is it. It's pretty straightforward actually. So how do I do my book launches? Right, well, I line up reviews, and if I can't get very many reviews lined up, then I will get reviews while the launch is happening, okay? So it's a big push throughout that whole period to make sure that we're getting reviews for that book, okay? And the more reviews, the better. Double digits, certainly, as a minimum, okay? We're also going to run ads, and then we're going to constantly evaluate what data those ads are giving us. And then we're going to tweak the ads to kind of make them perform better. I'll explain a little bit about that in a second. And then we're also going to follow a social media strategy to get free awareness in the world. And, we're going to be consistent with that strategy. Okay, so what we're going to do is, before we go into the actual plan, let's talk about the good book checklist. Yeah, so here's the thing for you. It's pointless advertising and launching a book if it's not going to sell in the first place. So you've got to make sure that it's good in the first place and it's capable of converting into a sale, don't you? Okay, so what I've done is I've just done this little checklist for you to go through. Ensure that you have this in place before you launch your book. Okay, so we need a great looking professional book cover. Do we have that? I think we do. Very good, yes. Do we have a compelling book description? Remember, a book description is a pitch for someone's business. Yeah, so we need to be salesy, okay? Yes, we do. We do have that as well, okay? And please let me know if you want me to do a video on book descriptions, because I love doing them. Love doing them. Okay, so various formats. This is the next thing, right? So you might have a low content book. If you have a low content book, then you can do a paperback, but you can also do a hardback as well, can't you? If you have got a high content ebook, you can do a paperback, you can do a hardback, and you can do an audiobook as well. Okay, so you need more than just the one presentation of any book, right? And the reason why you do that is because you can kind of put a range of prices on there and people will pick the price that they're most comfortable with. Okay? Rather than it just being the one and then they drift off to a competitor who've got some options. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay? The next thing is the A+ content, right? And that needs to be ready to be posted before you've even submitted the book, okay? And I am going to do a video on A+ content at some point. I will do that in the future. So let me just get yes for this one too, yes. Your author central needs to be up to date and looking good with a nice bio and things like that, and also your social media accounts need to be put on that author central as well, so it all connects up, okay? So we complete the circle, so to speak. Okay, so then we need our social media accounts setting up, right? Now I've got them all. I love social media, but I think if you're not the sort of person who likes social media, you can kind of get away with maybe one that's kind of video based, and then one of the more traditional ones like Facebook or Twitter, X or whatever it is now. So one of the things that you can do is do two social medias really well, rather than kind of do loads and do them not all loads not very good. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to make 10 book mock-ups and 20 pieces of niche-related info to post over the month, okay, right? Now, I'll talk about the differences in those two types of content in a second. We need to also, in the book, we need to ask in the front and the back of the book, interior, for reviews, and we need to stick a QR code in there so people can just scan it on their smartphones. It takes them straight through to their Amazon book page where they can then leave a review. Okay, and one of the other things is if you have a mailing list, you can also use this regularly combined with socials, but for the purposes of this, I'm just going to presume that you don't have an email list. So we can just take it from there. Okay, so these are all yes. Very good. Okay, so social media strategy, just quickly before we go into the plan. Okay, so we're going to need for the book launch 30 pieces of content, right? So one for each day to make it pretty simple, right? And I split this into kind of 10 direct salesy type posts. Okay, so selling your book, right? And just for the purposes of this video, we'll call those types of posts social A. And then 20 pieces of brand building or info posts, which are niche specific. So social B, that will be those types of posts, right? And the mentality is you can't just be sales. You need to offer value to people, okay? So, I've heard a lot of the buzzword value bombs. Yeah, value bombs. Give people some value bombs. Value. Anyway. So if people are seeing that this content is useful for them, then they'll go through to your Amazon sales page, which should be on every social media link that you have. So obviously on Instagram you have an option to put a link. On TikTok you have an option to put a link. That needs to be the book page that you are selling. So people will click on there and it takes you through to the book that you're selling. Okay, so I've just put some ideas here for the kind of salesy type content. So, you can put top 5 benefits of your book. That can be a short form video created in Canva easily. You could mock up a book with a picture and a call to action, so on and so forth. Address the problem that your book solves with a mock-up of the book at the end. Reviews of your book with a picture. You could even have a friend video a review for you as well, okay? And as I say, what we're going to do is we're going to talk in the plan. One of the points is to actually buy a copy of your book. So you'll have a paperback version to take kind of short form video, in various places. You could go to a lake with your book. You could go on a bridge with your book. Just kind of this kind of like nice background that you're doing with your book there. And ideas for your brand building, If you go on ChatGPT, it will just give you a massive, massive epic list of things that you could potentially do to build your brand for your niche. Okay, so it's probably best for you to go on there. Okay, so let's just go to the plan and we'll start going through this. Right. So the way that this works is that each day, up to 31 days, is on this column here, right? I've also got a little budget here of how much it's going to cost you per day, kind of accumulating. When you've done it, when you've done the task for each day, you can just go, yes, okay? Now, it's not going to be the end of the world if you miss any of these days, so don't worry too much. But this will give you a good basis to kind of get into the routine of these book launches, okay? Because it does take a bit of work every day. It might take 20 minutes one day, it might take an hour the next day, right? But ultimately, once you have done your book launch period, the month, you will know if that book is a good one or a bad one. Okay, right. So what we're going to be tracking each day is we're going to be tracking the number of reviews that are accumulating, the number of ad clicks, the spend, the number of sales from ads, and the number of organic sales, and then the best sellers rank. So we're going to fill those in every day as a matter of course, okay? Right, so the first day, we're going to buy a copy of the book, and then we're going to, this is when it's live, we're going to buy a copy of the book, we're going to upload A+ content to .com.co.uk and any other ones that you want to. These are the two that I operate in mostly. Then you're going to make your social media website link your universal book link, okay? And the universal book links can be found at Booklinker, which is this particular address here. And a universal book link, if you don't know, is one link that you can advertise everywhere, which will take the person, whoever's seen that link, to their correct store. So if you're in America and you have the universal book link and I click on it, it'll take me to the takes me to the .co.uk site, okay, and so on and so forth around the whole world. So day one isn't too hard, is it? Okay, so day two, we're going to post one of the social A posts, and we're going to ask 10 family and friends for a review, okay? And you can do this using your personal social medias or just people you know. But one thing you have to do is you have to make sure that you use that universal book link, because if you send, if you search for your book on Amazon and then send them that big long link, that has like a time and date stamp on that. So people will... So Amazon will know that that's all come from one kind of thing, and it won't allow the reviews to post, okay? So that's what you're going to do the second day, which again isn't too bad, is it? Then what we're going to do for the third day is we're going to set up an auto ad for your book, okay, on Amazon Marketing Services. Okay, so if you've got an ebook, you're going to include the paperback and the ebook as well. I wouldn't include the hardback though, if you've got a hardback, but paperback and ebook, yes. You're going to set the budget of this auto ad to $2 per day, and that's going to be bids down only. And we're going to set the bid to 36 cents. Okay, simple as that. Then you're going to post niche-related posts using hashtags. Okay, so what I've done is I've also put a link to a website called Best Hashtags, which gives you good hashtags for free. Yeah, they're generally okay for your social content. So one of the things that this is every day you're going to be doing either social A content or social B content. So either sales pitch or brand building each day. And we're going to stay consistent throughout the whole month. So I'm not going to go over that anymore, okay? So, okay, the next, on the fourth day, we're going to create a video of your book being flicked through. Flicking through the book, yeah. Looking down at it like this, right? And then you can have a friend post that as a review on your book page, right? And when people look at that, they can go down to the video reviews and they can see someone looking through the page. Now that will be massively looked through. And if someone can see the book in someone's hands, it'll make it more desirable to them, okay, rather than just a digital mock-up, okay? Right, so now, day 5. What we're going to do is we're going to bring up our ads, which have now run for a couple of days, right? And we're going to have a look at them. So if we've got no impressions, right, which means that the ads aren't being served, the auto ads are not being served at 36 cents, we're going to raise the bid by 3 cents, yeah? Now, if it's maxing out the budget of $2 per day, we're going to increase it to $3 per day. But then, and lower the bid by 0.03 cents, okay, right? And then we're going to leave that run. Okay, so the next thing is day 6. We're going to join 10 Facebook groups related to the niche that you're in, and start to comment, reply, and like on 10 posts from each group, which is 100 posts, which you're doing there, right? So it's a fair bit of work to do there, but it might take you about an hour to do, okay? But what we need to do is we need to start to have a presence in these kind of groups of people who are interested in this particular niche, okay? Day 7, we're going to evaluate your ads, like we did on day 5, to basically, the goal is going to be to max out the daily budget when it is doing auto ads, right? Now, the whole reason why we're doing that is for the first 2 weeks of the launch, we are going to run these auto ads, $2 a day, but we're going to try and max them out every day. So then after 2 weeks, that auto ads should have given us enough data to understand what our books are being served for, which keywords and which products that Amazon marketing services, the ads are actually showing our book for, okay? So that's why we're doing that. So we're going to skip a few days, okay? We're asking for reviews on the Facebook groups, yeah? But we're not doing any selling on the Facebook groups, we're just kind of interacting, okay? Because most of these groups you can't sell on anyway. And the ones that you can sell on, it's just an absolute wave after wave after wave of sales things that people don't just scroll past. Okay, it's just a waste of time. So you go on there and you kind of interact to kind of get people to be interested in the brand, and then they'll go through to the website, and the website's the book, and it's bringing people to the book. Okay, right. So we've got the strategy there. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this until we get to the 2-week review. So if we click to the 2-week review here, let's have a look. So what we need to do is we're going to look at the ads, the reviews, and the sales, okay, and the bestsellers rank. So for ads, after those 2 weeks of running those auto ads, we'd like to see 80 to 100 clicks in this period. So if you don't have 80 to 100 clicks, you want to keep the auto ads campaign as it is, okay? Once you have at least 80 clicks on your auto ads, you can run a report, and that report will find out what keywords and what products have been given the most impressions and clicks. Okay, so we need to make sure that obviously we're being served for relevant keywords. Okay, so if they're relevant, create one ad targeting these keywords. Yeah, so now we're going to create a manual ad targeting these keywords, which are good ones. We're going to target them exact, phrase, and broad. And then we're going to make another ad, but this time it's going to be targeting the products. So it's the good keywords and it's the good products that the auto ads have been serving to. And these are going to be your generation 2 ads, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to set both bids to 31 cents, and you're going to set it up to bid up and down. So it could go all the way up to 62 cents. If it thinks that it's more likely to convert into a sale. And we're going to give a daily budget of each of those for $2 per ad. So at this point, bring your auto ad down to just $1 per day. So your total budget per day at this point at 2 weeks will then be $5 per day. Okay? Still with me? Very good. So, reviews. So at this point, at the 2 weeks point, your book should have at least 10 reviews, okay? And if not, reach out to more people to get it into double figures, okay? In these Facebook groups, you should be now starting to talk to people. You should be able to potentially private message them and see if they'll leave you a review. You can send them PDFs of the book for them to flick through, and then they can give you a review. Okay, so the other thing as well is you could potentially use like sites like Pubi, which is like a review kind of exchange site, yeah, but it takes a bit more work because you have to review other people's books and so on and so forth. Okay, so the ad-based sales. So for the 80 to 100 clicks that we would hope we're getting, we'd hope we'd be getting 8 to 12 sales, yeah, which will register on the Amazon Marketing Services dashboard, okay, in that first 2 week period. If you do not have 8 to 12 ad sales, the options are lowering the cost of the book slightly. Let's just say you've got the book on for $9.99. Yeah, you could potentially look at putting that to $8.99, or you could slightly increase the budget of the ads if you'd like. Okay, if you've got the money to spend. If you have more sales than 12, then you are doing a great job. Okay, so we want to kind of maintain what we're doing, don't we? Okay, obviously the new ads should obviously amplify that because we've taken all the good data that we found from the auto ads. So the organic sales then. So for each launch, I would like to get around the same amount of organic sales as paid ones, right? So if we're saying that we're getting 8 to 12 as a target for the ad-based ones, we'd like to see the same for the organic ones, yeah? If you have ad sales but no organic sales, you need to establish what keyword is giving the sales and consider adding this keyword to your book's metadata. Okay, so you might have some sort of discrepancy in your book's metadata and what the book's being served for. Okay, so you could potentially take one of those search terms, which is doing well for ads, and put that into your metadata. Okay, very good. Okay, and then your bestsellers rank. So by this point, we should be in the tens of thousands, which is where we want to maintain it, which is what that floating level is. Okay, so we'll go back to the plan. So what we're going to do is, if you've got a Kindle version of your book, then you can apply on ACX to get it into an audiobook at this point. But what you want to do is you want to maintain doing socials every day. Okay, after a week, we want to review our ads, and we can, if they're underperforming, which I don't think they will be, but if they are, you can actually increase the bid up to 40 cents if you want to, which will make because it's going up and down, potentially up to 80 cents per click. Okay, but remember, we're keeping a budget of $5 a day, so you're never ever going to go over that. Okay, keep doing your socials, just like I've got here. And then here's another little one as well. Just before the last few days of the month, you could potentially launch a free Kindle offer where you've got a load of reviews and the Kindle version can be potentially set as free, right? Which is really good because then you can actually say, look, it's free today, please leave me a review, and then that will be a verified review. Okay, so last day of the month, we're going to turn off the auto ads and re-look at the data. Yeah, we're going to add extra keywords and products that may be getting clicks to your product, and keyword ads. Yeah, so the auto ad that we've left on could be giving us more data. So we look at that again, extract that data, and we stick that on our keyword ad and our product ad. Okay, and we reduce these ads to $2 per day. Okay, so that's kind of like $1 per ad. Okay, and then we kind of just leave it. Yeah, and we'll see if the book will flow or whether it sinks. So the 4 week review. Now that the launch period is over, you'll need to assess how well the book is doing. So the easiest way to check this is to see if you are doing at least one sale a day, right? And I basically think if it's doing one sale a day, then it's ticking over nicely, okay, and it's staying afloat. And so what we're doing is we're going to take the keyword and product ads, as I was saying, and just put that down to $1 rather than the $2. So you'll still be spending $2 a day. Okay. You can also adjust the bid down to a level where you're just spending $1 a day rather than just, rather than it maxing out in, half the day and stuff like that. So basically, at this point, you now look at your book. You should have a heap of sales. You should have a heap of reviews. You've given the book the best possible chance for it to go ahead and live a lovely life on Amazon. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that if you follow this plan, the book will then go into the stratosphere and, you'll become an overnight millionaire. But then I'm not saying that this will, every book's going to fail. Yeah. If you follow this plan, it's the exact plan that I have followed, and I've got some books that do incredibly well, and then I have some books where I do this plan and it just doesn't work. So I'm just going to just tell you the truth. So there's some that do really well and some that just don't work. But what you can do is, because if you are spending $100 on ads, and sometimes this can be even less, because remember, that's just a budget that we've been talking about, not what we're actually spending. That's actually a tax write-off, okay? So at the end of the year, when the taxman says, how much money have you made? You say, this is how much money I've made, but I've spent this much on ads, so you can take that off your tax bill, okay? Okay, so that's it. That's basically my book launch. So go ahead and go and check it out. If you found it useful, please leave it a like. And if you've got any questions, just leave a comment under the video and I will get back to you. If you want to join the community, then why don't you join the free Facebook group we've got there, where we're helping people out on there and stuff like that. And just again, if you want some direct help from myself and the other KDP ninjas, then why don't you consider being a member of the channel, okay? For the cost of a pint of beer a night. A week, should I say. A month. Oh, God. Right. Now, if you have a look at this video, I think that you might find that useful too. And until next time, bye.